Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fuller Homestead. My name is Brian. Today is kind of a big day today. We are going to start on a project that I have been wanting to do for about 3 years now, and that is we're going to dig a pond. When we moved to this property about 3 years ago, the one thing that it didn't have that I wished it had was a water source. I mean, there was no well, there was no natural spring that we knew of. All we knew is that the land was sloped, the north side's higher than the south side, and that we had really good runoff from that. Like it drained really well. And it all drained kind of to this area. In fact, it's a little bit set up for a pond. And so when I kind of surveyed the area, I was like, eventually, right here, this is where we're going to put a pond. I didn't know exactly how big we could make it or would want to make it, but here's the thing. We've now accepted a bid from an excavation guy, and he's going to be here in about 9 days. But I've got to get some trees down because that wasn't part of the bid. So as I count, it looks like about 12-ish trees. Some of them are quite large, several of them are not. We're going to take some small ones out today because I am kind of against a time clock here, as I've got some plans for early evening rather. We are going to leave the trunks, as we're going to use the root balls for fish habitat, and so I'm not worried about taking those up. I haven't given you any measurements, so let me do that. It's going to be about 1/4 of an acre. And then the depth right now, we talked about doing 16 feet. I'm really, to be honest with you, kind of saying that we really don't need that, not here in Arkansas. I mean, our frost line's like, what, 6 inches? But right now, that's what the bid was for, was about 1/4 acre and 16 feet at the bottom. It's gonna go back up into this area just a little bit, but not much. On the other side, I don't know if you can even tell, there's a little runoff, little creek-ish area here. That's the back side of that creek is going to be the edge of the pond. And then basically on the other side, well, where all those trees are, most all those trees are coming out, and it's going to be on the other side of those. I'm talking enough. I got to cut some trees down. Let's go. It's the first full day of the pond build. It's a little after 6 in the morning. The rest of the family is asleep, and I'm kind of right outside the window, so I'm trying to be quiet here. But our operator has arrived for the excavator, and he is gonna start here shortly. So we're gonna set up a little bit of a time lapse and show you a lot of the digging. I know he's got several trucks that are coming in today to haul away dirt. We're gonna keep a couple of dump truck loads of dirt just to use around the property, but should be an exciting day. One other thing of note, yesterday when he was here doing a little bit of digging to get a pile ready and to clear out some of the trees, he said that he was hitting some rock. Now, they weren't, we're not talking like bedrock, but just larger rocks, and that made him concerned that we might not be able to get to the depth that we wanted of like, 12 to 14 feet. He's hoping for 10. So we'll just see how it goes. It wasn't a great way to end, the day yesterday, to say, hey, we may not be able to go as deep as we want, but we'll see. I have the most footage from day one because I took off of work just so I could be here to answer any questions, because this is the first time we really had met up, myself and Kennedy Rush, to talk about the pond since that first day when he made the bid on it, and we kind of measured it out. So this day was just full of clearing and digging and uprooting stumps, and it was neat to see the power and efficiency of the machinery, and also the efficiency that Kennedy had in being able to use it. He just was a pro at it. And then let's just be honest, we I got to witness so many dump trucks being loaded, and this guy was so well organized. He had them lined up on a road. They just backed up, gave them all the dirt they could handle. They went off, got rid of the dirt, came back, got more dirt, and it was really well organized. It was also great to kind of see the thing take shape. You know, it was all in my brain up until he started making paths around it. And so I was just thoroughly impressed with his work. This is the end of day one as the excavator has been put away for the day. I'm just going to tell you, we're using Kennedy Rush excavation, and this guy was on this excavator from about 6:30 this morning till, oh good grief, 4 o'clock this evening, and took out a ton of dirt. We had dump truck after dump truck taking out, and I know perspective is hard on video. The lowest part right here, we don't know exactly how low that's going to be. It depends some on how much we build up the sides, but there's no way we're going to get to 16, probably no way that we're going to get to 14. Let me see if I can walk down there and show you. And so here's the reason why. You can see kind of this white clay that's down here. Well, when our dirt guy reached it, he came and got me and he said, hey look, here's the thing, once you start reaching this white, and at that time it was kind of mixed in more, this is pretty solid white, is that once you get there, you know that you're close to the shale, and you don't want to go to the shale. You want to leave, you know, a couple of feet above that so that it won't leak. You know, you've got the best chance of it not leaking anyway. So once he got to what was pretty much pure white, he said, hey, that's as low as I'm going to go. And we don't know exactly how much that's gonna be. If I was guessing just from what it's built up here and I was to stand at the lowest part, I'm gonna say we're at, I'm gonna say 8 feet. I could be off. So it's not gonna be as deep as we had liked, but it may be just as deep as we can go. I'm okay with that. Like it's looking nice. Still a ton of dirt to move out of here. All of this, like there's so much more. Let's just take this across from where this white level is here, and it'll swoop up that way. That's pretty much the edge of where we're going to have it on this side. Over here, we're going back just a little further, maybe another 1.5 to 2 feet back that way, and then kind of the same thing over here, a couple more feet back. But overall, I cannot complain about the progress that we made here on day one. This guy, like I said, was working nonstop. I was thoroughly impressed with the excavator. It's my first time to kind of be on site with that large of a piece of equipment, and to see, first of all, how he was picking up trees at the very beginning and moving them was just unreal. He even had to be sensitive, I think, on the trigger with the clamp, because he was breaking trees in half, like large trees. It was nuts, the power that that thing had. I mean, look, at this point, if we could get 8 feet, 10 feet by the time we build it up, I'd be just ecstatic, because it's better than what we had, which was no pond. I'll give you some perspective on the house. So there's the house here. So you can see it's just going to be a walk off the front porch to do a little fishing. And then in case of an emergency, a severe drought or something, we would have water that we could pump up to the animals if we really wanted to do that. But right now it's really just going to be a recreational deal. So let me tell you a little bit about day two. I am not going to get hardly any footage. It'll be later in the afternoon, because I am going to go into work tomorrow, and then I've got some deliveries to make afterwards. So I'll be pushing it to get back here probably before he calls it a day, and give you an idea of what day two looks like. So day two of the pond build, I've already been home, but I'm not going to show you the pond quite yet. We are on our way to a farmer friend of ours who is giving us a culvert. This guy has gone above and beyond the call of duty to help us out. He's got this 19-foot, we think, culvert, plastic culvert that we're going to be able to use. Originally, we're going to cut it in half, but I think because of the way that my excavator guy is doing the little levee, we could use a little more length. So we're not going to cut it quite yet. We're going to try to take the whole thing home. Here's the deal, though. I don't have a 16-foot trailer. The farmer that I'm getting this from has offered to let me use his 16-foot trailer, but I feel like he's given so much already. What I'm going to try to do is use the 8-foot bed that's in my truck and the little 8-foot trailer that I have, and stretch that out between the two and hopefully make it. When we get there, I'm meeting this guy's dad, who's going to have a skid steer to help me get it onto said sketchy transportation mode. He's just about 6 miles away from our farm, It's not gonna take very long, but now I'm off the paved road, so it's really gonna be hard to film. So when we get to the hayfield, I'll jump back in. We got plenty of room back here, but I think that'll ride. All right, let's head to the house. Okay, culvert is on location. Let's look at the work that was done today. Let me turn the camera around here so you can see better. This is the levee that we're working on. We're gonna make it to where we can drive a four-wheeler around there or a tractor to go all the way around to the other side of the pond. I'm gonna walk this way just a little bit, give you a view of the spanse here. I know perspective is really hard as far as depth goes. The deepest part is going to be the part that's closest to the house. So kind of right about, let's say right there. That's probably the deepest. Maybe you can get a little bit of perspective seeing how high up the excavator is. Now tomorrow, as I understand it, is going to be a mixture of excavator, so they can probably install the culvert over on this side, and dozer. So a lot more pushing. I was a little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie, that we couldn't get as deep as we wanted. He said once the dozer work is done, it'll pull those sides up and give you some more depth all the way around. So that's what I'm kind of excited about. I won't be here again tomorrow, but I hope to be here earlier than I was today, so maybe I can catch the guys before they leave. But man, there's been so much work done here and it just looks amazing. Another look at it from this side. I don't remember if I pointed out this stump or not. We're gonna leave it or at least cut it down because we were afraid that it pulling up the roots would have affected this fiber cable that's coming. I don't think it's coming this way. I think it's coming straight at me, but still, these things go far out, so we just didn't want to risk it. Jack looks like he's ready for a ride. You ready to go, buddy? Okay. All right, we're gonna wrap it up for today. So this is the end of day 2 of our pond build. And it is day 3. Technically, I'm recording this on Thursday, which would be day 4, but nothing's changed since yesterday. So I was gonna show everybody the current status while our goats are screaming because they want attention. So what you're seeing right now is gonna be really the final kind of shape and depth of this pond. It is not close to what we were hoping. We were hoping for a 1/4 acre of area. We were hoping for a 16-foot depth, but as explained before, at least on the depth, we can't go further than this. It's just not safe. Now, the reason that our acreage or our size got cut short is because of where the fiber comes in for our property. That's the box, an access box for it. The line runs right like this. And we had a tree that we had cut down. We were gonna go around this tree and cut basically to the back of this levee. That's gonna be the original, size. This is where the end was gonna be. The levee was gonna be on the other side of that. But because we were afraid that pulling up this tree, that the roots, when he pulled up the root ball, would affect the line in which the cable was at, and we didn't wanna mess with it, so we left that. And we shortened it. We just kind of cut it short. So real talk for a second. I've gone through being disappointed in how this is turning out. It's not nearly as deep as I wanted it. It's not the size that I wanted originally, but we're just having to work with what the land gives us, and this is what it's given us. And so I dealt with that for a little bit, and then I sat back, like probably right about here, and I just started imagining this thing filled with water, and I thought, it's gonna be okay. Like, it's not that big of a deal. This was an area that we were not using. I mean, for anything. It was it was a low-lying area that water would drain through to head out towards our road, and that over there was nothing. It was just a grass area that we had to mow. We'd run the goats on it every now and then, but it really was being used for nothing. So I've gone from disappointment to saying this is what the land gives us, so this is what we're going to use, and saying at least it's going to be used for something. I don't think this will be in this video, but my neighbor, I found out, is going to be able to hook us up with a pier that used to be on a local lake. And so we're gonna be able to put a small pier in here. And so I'm excited about that. I was probably gonna build something eventually, but while the pond is dry, it'll be great. And we looked at the weather forecast, my wife and I did. It looks like the next chance of rain is not gonna be for about another week. And even then, from what we're seeing, it's not a huge chance of rain. So it'll be a while. We'll keep you updated on how this pond fills up. The last thing to do, our dirt guy is gonna take this bobcat and kind of smooth some stuff out. We've still gotta bury the culvert. Let's walk over there and see. This is the culvert that was generously donated. Funny story about this, I was just about to cut it in half, or the farmer that was donating it to us was gonna cut it in half, because initially all we were gonna want was an 8 to 10 foot section. Then my dirt guy calls me and he's like, hey, don't cut that if you haven't already. And I realized then he was gonna make this levee, the top of this levee, wider. And so you can see it just fits. It's like amazing. And it's on a slope going out to where it would drain into the ditch right here and go out through the neighborhood. That still needs to be done. We're gonna put some rock on top of this to hold it down and then fill it back in with dirt. He's gonna take the bobcat, come back up here, really work this area in, the sides of the pond, the bottom of the pond, and then he's gonna take the skid steer, really smooth this out, probably push that little area down the undergrowth to where I can access this line of our property, and then even go around to this side. Like I said, with the goal of just being able to get a small ATV or something around there, of which we don't currently own, but one day we will. There's the front of the house. It's gonna be really cool once this is filled up to walk out and head out to the little pond to go fishing. And that gives you the progress update on day 3. We're going to have one more day of work, and it's not even gonna be a full day. I think he's coming out tonight to use the bobcat, and then maybe some on Friday morning. But we're going out of town today. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon, and by that point, he should be done with what he's gonna do. So I'll shoot an update then for the completion of it. This whole project basically has taken us 4 days. So one more update in about a day, and then we'll get back with you. And that update's gonna happen right now. So the bobcat work started as I was leaving the house, and now you get to see the final product. Full transparency, this is about 3 days after he finished up, but we're gonna call this shot the end of day 4. So this is what our pond is gonna look like when it's empty. I wish I had a shot to tell you what it looks like when it's full. But he did all the levee work, finished it, got the culvert buried, and it was just the right size. He also, on the back side of this levee, made a little bit of a slope here so that we could bring up some ATVs on this back side, and then also cleared up around this edge to give us good access to the back side. Walk around a little bit more to kind of give you some perspective from this side. I believe you can see a little bit better how the levee was built up there and smoothed out on the bottom here. Our 2 wet weather creeks are over on that side, but they have not had an opportunity to help me fill this pond. A few final thoughts about our pond build here on the homestead. It took about 4 days altogether, 3 full days of work and then 2 half days of work. And I'm happy with the final product. I'm so excited for it to be able to be filled up with water so that we can, first of all, test it, see if it holds, and then be able to think about what we can do in the future, including putting a dock in and getting fish and all that stuff. And those will be future videos, I'm sure. When I see people do these pond builds, they tend to go over a couple of things. Number 1, how much did it cost? And number 2, would you do anything differently? So the original bid for this pond was $7,200. And we thought at the time, hey, great deal. We're so excited to be able to use this young man who's got his own excavating company, happy to support that. And then because he was able to finish a day earlier than he had bid, he took $1,100 off of the price just because we didn't have to use the excavator for that extra day. So overall, took us $6,100 to do this. We are gonna put a solar aeration system in here, so that's probably gonna be in the neighborhood of $500 to fully complete once I get all the parts together. So let's add another $500 to that, so we're in $6,600. Still not a bad investment for your property, for our homestead, as we look ahead to what we might be able to do with it for agritourism and letting kids come over and not only check out the animals in the garden, but also to do a little fishing in our pond. Now to answer the question, would I do anything differently? Well, at this point, we don't even have a drop of water in here. So I don't know if we're going to come across some things of, I wish I had, tested some things to see if it seals, or I don't know how the pond aeration system's going to go. But just to this point, after 4 days of work, having basically a hole in the ground with no water in it, what would I have done differently? Really only one thing. And that's to go into this project telling myself, Brian, there's probably no way you're going to get exactly what you want. So don't get disappointed when you find out that things have to change, like the size of the pond or the depth of the pond, or even the amount of work that's got to go into the pond. Like there's just all of these things that you just go in and say, hey, look, I want to do a pond. We're going to do it the best that we can do. It may not be exactly what's in my head, and that's okay. And one thing that I've learned about doing this homesteading thing is that seems to be every single project. Thanks for coming along on this short video to talk about our 4-day pond build. I can't wait to update you when we've got water in it. I'm even more excited about updating you when we have fish in it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day.